You've been learning about value investing, finance, just regular investment for a while now, but you don't know where to go next. You're getting confused about the vast amount of information on the internet. You don't want to waste your time on crap information. You want good information and reliable information. In this series of videos on value investing and finance education, you will find those answers to those questions and much more. My name is Jason Rivera. Welcome to Value Investing and Finance Education. Hey, Jason here. I want to give you my thoughts today on index funds and mutual funds and so-called retirement plans. In the U.S., if you're watching from outside the U.S., you might have some kind of pension, retirement plan, whatever. I'm not really sure how things work, so I'm speaking specifically to people in the U.S. and generally the thought and kind of general practice of retirement funds here. Again, if you're somewhere around the world, which a lot of our viewers are, then this might be partially different than your exact situation. So I want to preface what I'm going to say here with that. But having said that, I talked in a previous video about diversification, and I got a little bit on the topic of retirement plans, but I wanted to hold that off for another video. Frankly, because they're two different topics, so I wanted to keep kind of one thing there, one thing here. My general thoughts on retirement plans are they suck. Not that they necessarily suck in and of themselves, but let's take 401k for example. The company matches a certain percentage, usually 2-3%, whatever it is, and then you get to pick from 3 to 10 crappy funds. And I say crappy funds because they generally have high fees, or they generally won't get you any returns, one of the two. And that's why they suck. They will just track the market. If the market goes up, your portfolio in retirement will go down. It will go up. If it goes down, it will do the inverse. So what do I recommend people? I get asked all the time, what do I recommend if I say these suck, which I think they frankly do? What do I recommend people do? I recommend you invest in a low-cost index fund like the Vanguard. What's a Vanguard? I have no relationship with Vanguard, by the way. I just love their low-fee index funds. I can't remember what it's called. The Vanguard, whatever the one that tracks the S&P 500 or the Dow, whatever the one that tracks the major stock market or the stock indices. I recommend putting your money into that and forgetting about it for 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. If you don't know how to evaluate and value specific businesses or single businesses like I do, if you know somebody like me you can trust, who loves doing this kind of stuff and who's very good at it and who can beat the market, I recommend you invest with me or whoever, your family friend or whoever it is. But you need to be careful if you do that, because the key word there is trust. Why do I say that? Because years ago, this was years ago, probably almost 10 years ago, probably 8 to 10 years ago, somewhere around there. So I was still relatively new at this value investing finance stuff, but even then my parents were like, here, take a look at my retirement. I immediately became furious. Why? I don't even want to use the term. He was a CFP, but he was a certified financial planner is what his title was, but he was essentially a salesperson. What he was doing to them, and again, he can get away with this, and a lot of people in the finance and investment industry can get away with this because they talk in these huge terms that people don't understand, and they do that on purpose to confuse people and get their money, which is what, in my opinion, this guy was doing. I don't know him personally. I've never even talked to him personally. All I know is his name and what he's doing to my parents. What he was doing to my parents, he had my parents in funds that were 2% on fees. He could have had them in lower fee, like Vanguard or whatever, but he chose the 2% fee ones, which is insane for an index fund or mutual fund. Very high. He, on top of that, was taking a 6% fee on top of their money for being their advisor. And then on top of that, you have typically every year 2% of inflation. So The way I kind of explained it to them is just to break even every year, they had to do, their portfolios had to do 10% a year. Most portfolios don't do that from these kind of investments for that reason. So just to break even, they had to do 10% a year, which they were not. They were losing. So they were losing money every single year until I took over their portfolios. And essentially, I come to find out later, I thought he was a CFP, which he is, but he didn't actually pick the individual stocks. He was just a salesperson. He offloaded that to somebody else, which took another fee. So again, just to even break even, I'll word it this way, just to make even 1% on their capital they had with him, they had to do 11% a year, which I don't think he ever did. Again, he lost money over the time he was with them. They lost money in their accounts, which is ridiculous. And it's still, I get furious about it just thinking about it today, because they were getting taken advantage of, and I'm sure a lot of other people out there are getting taken advantage of because they don't know what the hell these people are talking about. Fees, and 2% fees don't sound like much, but over time it's a lot of money. So and that's why I talked about, you have to trust these people, and they have to explain things to you in a way that you will understand what they're saying. If they're talking a bunch of crap you don't understand, you need to run away from them. If they're talking about no risk or low risk, you need to run away from them. If they're not answering your questions, you need to run away from them. If they're being vague in their answer or evasive in their answers, you need to run away from them. All these kind of things. So if you can't trust anybody, and you don't know somebody like me that you're close with, that you want to invest money with, that again loves this kind of stuff, that you can trust, that loves doing this kind of stuff and is very good at it, invest your money in a low-cost index fund, Vanguard index fund, for example, and forget about it for 10, 20, 30 years. That's fine, but be warned, you will not beat the market. You will track the market. Again, you will just go up when the stock market goes up, and it'll go down when the stock market goes down. It will not beat the market like I do for my parents. Since I've taken over their retirement accounts, I've almost quadrupled their retirement accounts in 5-6 years. I don't remember how long it's been now. Something like, I've almost quadrupled their retirement accounts. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that this guy with degrees and certifications and titles was losing them money every year and ripping them off and screwing them, while a guy who doesn't have normal education, normal experience, has almost quadrupled their portfolios in an incredibly safe manner. I'm an incredibly conservative investor. So if you don't know somebody like me, invest in a low-cost index fund. You're just going to track the market. You're not going to do any better than that, but typically over time the market goes up. So if you leave it there for 20, 30, 40 years, you're going to have a good chunk of change in there. But that's the problem. You got to leave it there. And that's another problem I have with these kind of retirement accounts, savings accounts, is you have to leave it there. If you try to take money out for any reason whatsoever, there's not only a penalty on it, but you have to pay taxes on the money as well. So I kind of wanted to warn you about the different options here with retirement funds, why I think for the most part they suck. But if you are going to do it, invest in a low-cost index fund. Low-fee index fund is technically, I think, what they call it. Look for, I think the Vanguard fee is like 0.1%, 0.1%. And so if you are looking yourself, look for something that is around 0.1%. If they don't have that option and they only have options that are above 1%, you need to ask your HR person, boss, whoever runs your stuff, and figure out why, because it's unnecessary, frankly. So those are my kind of quick thoughts on retirement plans. Again, this is mostly focused on the U.S. I don't know foreign countries' retirement plans or pension plans or whatever very well, if at all. I think I know a little bit about the Canadian retirement plan, but other than that, I'd love to hear your comments below on this if you have different thoughts. I'd love to hear, if you're a foreign investor, what your kind of retirement plan is, because I know we have a lot of foreign viewers. I'd love to hear about your retirement plans, because frankly I don't know anything about them. I love to be educated and learn about them, and I'd love to potentially help you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to help in any way I can. Make sure to watch our other videos in our playlists, right, left, bottom, wherever you're watching from. We have other playlists on investment case studies, value investing education, finance, learning. I talk about crypto, speculative investments, mental models, all these kind of stuff in our videos. So make sure to check those out. Make sure to like and share if you like the video, and make sure to subscribe and hit the button or hit the bell if you so you're notified anytime we release a new video. And I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.